Hello, friends. I'm Mark Stanislawski. I am also Good Ideas Comics. We're here in the Comic Cave in the heart of Michigan as we look at Iron Hammer Graphics' Master of the Void. Super indie comic. Iron Hammer Graphics didn't make a lot of books. They made these two issues of Master of the Void. They made a Dungeons and Dragons trade in 2002, and that was the end of Iron Hammer Graphics. These books, I love these books. I love this type of comic. I love these types of books. And as we get into this, I did a video, I don't know, a few weeks back, and it's on. Maybe I'll throw a link to that video where we talked about lettering. And a lot of indie comics they didn't do much with lettering. They kind of ignored lettering in their comics because they didn't really think it was a big deal. Let me just grab some water. Or maybe they felt I could letter a book. It's easy, and it's not that easy. But so as we see here, this is issue 1. I love the cover, and then as we open, we get to see this incredible Norse type font that really gives the book that old timey feel. It gives it a like a Conan the Barbarian, otherworld, Hyborian age type feel to the book. And this is one of the things I love about this is that these are your credits, and the way he wrote the credits was as if he was telling a tale, So Stephen Stanley, also known as Modi Thorson, I don't know, I don't know if that's just a pen name, a name he made up, but I guess his real name is Stephen Stanley, and he wrote. I can't say he wrote. He adapted these books. Master of the Void is an adaptation of Norseman mythology, tales from Norse mythology that Stephen Stanley adapted and gave to an artist to draw upon. The artist is Adrian Smith, and you'll see Adrian Smith was a pretty good artist. Yeah, I'm liking the art. Brian Blair did the lettering. Okay, so this is important, and I'm gonna bring this up front about the lettering. A lot of guys, not guys, a lot of people who do indie books. Sometimes they do a few books, or they want to do a certain type of book like Master of the Void, and they have an idea. Hey, let's use this weirdo type font, to give it a really Norse feel to it. And at the time, it sounds like a great idea, right? Really, it gives it feeling. It's a great, you feel it's a great creative idea that you want to throw in your book to make it stand out, to make it unique. And it does make it unique. One of the bigger things, though, is that in lettering, you really want to be able to read it. And as much as I love the font, as much as I love, the reasoning behind it, of why they did it, it's unbelievable. Wow, look at this. This is no lettering here. This is great. I love this art. It makes it unbelievably hard to read when you're trying to read the words. And if you're if you're an older guy like me, and it's tough enough to see as it is, and then you have this weird font that you have to try to get through. It's tough, and sometimes what you think was a great creative idea, turns out not really to be so great of an idea because it's just tough to read. I did the same thing myself. This is a book that I had written and put out, and I don't know if you can see this, but I came upon the idea, says I want to use this type of font, and it's very similar, right? It's very similar to this font. It's not as, it's not, as you can see that there, it's close, but it's not exact. It's not exact. But I came up with the idea and I said, oh man, I'm going to use this font and it's going to look cool, and I put the shadow under it and I thought it looked great. And I thought I was so smart and I thought I was doing the greatest thing in the world. And the number one complaint I got from people on that book is that they couldn't read. They couldn't read that font. It was tough for them to read my name on the front cover in that font. And that was like the number one complaint. And I says, okay, noted. So from that point on, I tried to stay away from crazy fonts. But yeah, as we're flipping through this issue, Adrian Smith, I don't know who this guy is. But this art here is unbelievable. I love the framing design here and the design underneath. I love it. I love all of that. That's unbelievable. Yeah, the designs. I mean, it's a great book, right? It's black and white. The art is weird. I don't know how they reproduce this. I mean, look at the veins in the hand. That's incredible. That's incredible work, I'm telling you. And then you have the pages I showed earlier with the no, seeing like this too. It's like Ymir and something. Boriri? Basiri? I have no idea what this is here. Is that an O or is that kind of like, that's what I mean, but yeah, I mean, now, I guess this is a double page spread. So it would have been nice if they like conjoined it so that it was an actual double page spread instead of having that space in the middle. It just looks like they threw plates, on a page and said, yep, even though it's a double page spread, it's a split double page spread. And I think it would have looked super cool and 100% nicer if they had attached those pages together. But yeah, I mean, I came across the first issue of this, Master of the Void. I had bought a collection, God, must have been 30 years ago, from my cousin. And my cousin had a couple of long boxes, and he sold them to me for like, I don't know, I think it was like 75 cents a book or 50 cents a book, whatever it was. And I says, yeah, absolutely. I'll buy them off you. And issue 1 was in the box, and I flipped through it and read it, and I was like, oh yeah, this is good stuff right here. And this is the stuff I love. It's Norse mythology. Yeah. And it's weird because the art is really, I mean, you can probably see it, but it's really light. It's almost like he drew it in pencil. He did everything in pencil. There's no inking involved, and that's what they printed from, the pencils. A great last page, cliffhanger, creation continues in March. So this came out in December, so it was a quarterly book. And then they tell you about the origins, Ymir, of the Norse Norse giants, and there's Odin. Yeah, Great stuff. And it looks like Iron Hammer Graphics was out of Colorado, it looks like. But yeah, 1992, 1993, issue 2, because I liked issue 1 so much and I had read it a bunch of times, I said, well, I got to get issue 2, and found issue 2 on mycomicshop.com. I got it from there. Same thing. Yep. Same thing here. It's a little bit different. It looks like, say, Stephen Stanley did the adaptation. Adrian Smith still did the art. Lettering was Brian Blair and William Stanley, so that must be Stephen Stanley's brother, I would imagine. Yeah. And this art in the second issue is even lighter than the first. Wow, this is really light. It's almost impossible to see. You know, and here we got a dark, here's some darkness here, but this is like super light. Wow. And I'm wondering, because this is all supposed to be like snow and ice, and I'm wondering if he did it that light on purpose to give that effect, because this is all right. But yeah, again, you know, just reading the lettering, that's tough. But yeah, this is good stuff right here. And then we get some silent panels. Yeah. Well, this is the type of book, when you do indie books, you know, Vidolf and Bohr. Yeah, and again, you know, same thing as in issue 1, we have a double page spread, but it's a split double page spread. And I just wish, you know, they had taken the time to do, to really do good production. But yeah, and this is really, really light artwork. It's very tough to see. The Great Ymir. I guess that's supposed to be Ymir. But yeah, but it's a nice issue, nice series. I mean, if you can find it and you don't mind slogging through the tough lettering, you know, and you're into Norse mythology. See, and it says creation shall continue in July with book 2, The Lords of Creation, but those books never came out. It was just issues 1 and 2, Master of the Void. The creation books never came out. At least not that I could find. If they did come out, they did not come out under Iron Hammer Graphics. As for numbers, books from early 90s, they're incredibly hard to find numbers on. I looked through the months, March 93. I looked through all those months of the numbers that came out. Couldn't find it there. So the lowest, I think, was about 2. So definitely did not sell 2,000 copies. If anything, it sold under 2,000 copies. But again, great art. I love the art. I love the idea of, you know, Norse mythology and Stephen Stanley's attempt at adapting it to comic book form. Definitely probably one of the better indie books that you have never read or never even heard of. I mean, before I got issue 1 in the collection, I didn't know anything about this book. I never heard of it. So when I came across it in the collection and I flipped through it, I immediately fell in love with it. So, you know, absolutely, if you're into that stuff, I would definitely recommend picking it up. And the art's good. I mean, like I said, I don't know who this Adrian Smith guy is. I would have to do some research on him, but that's some pretty good art. But yep, definitely check it out. Highly recommend. Master of the Void, Iron Hammer Graphics from 1992, 1993. Thank you for sticking around and listening to me ramble on about stuff like this, comics. I appreciate all of you who stick around to watch the videos as we talk. As we talk comics, we do unboxings, we do comics, and I know in previous videos I had talked about possibly like going through Marvel and DC books and analyzing those stories and talking about those stories. And I think I might do that. I think I might do that down the road. Because I have a lot of comics here in the comic cave, and these are all my comics that I show you. I don't borrow them from anybody. I own them all, and I think it's important to kind of broaden our horizons in the stuff that we read, instead of just Marvel and DC. It's good to branch out into indie books of all different kinds, whether they be more adult oriented or more kid oriented. But again, I'm rambling. I'm digressing. Thank you for tuning in, and as always, we'll see you in the funny pages.
Hey everyone, thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. You guys are the best, and I truly appreciate you. Just a side note, I not only talk about comics and collect comics and review comics and love comics, I also make comics. And these are some of the comics that I've made. And if you're interested in, there's a wide variety of genres. You can go to www.goodideascomics.com, as you can see in the banner, and you can order them there. Or if you don't want to order them from a website, I can understand that. You can email me at goodideascomics@gmail.com, and we'll hook you up with some of this great stuff. Indie books are the best, and you guys are the best. Thank you very much. See you in the funny pages.